During the Cold War, the sky itself was a battlefield. There were no countdowns, no warnings. If war came, it would come from above. And standing between NATO and destruction were these anti-aircraft guns. Section 1. The First Shield. Early Cold War defenders. M45 Quadmount, United States. At the dawn of the Cold War, NATO relied on a weapon born in World War II, but perfected by urgency. The M45 Quadmount was brutally simple and terrifyingly effective. 4 50 caliber machine guns mounted together created a wall of lead that could shred low-flying aircraft in seconds. It wasn't elegant, it wasn't modern, but it worked. Mounted on trucks, half-tracks, and fixed positions, the Quadmount became NATO's immediate answer to sudden air attack. Across Europe, it guarded airfields, supply routes, and troop concentrations. Against fast jets, it was limited, but against helicopters and ground attack aircraft, it was deadly. Sometimes survival doesn't come from sophistication, it comes from overwhelming firepower. Bofors 40mm L60. Few weapons earned NATO's trust like the Bofors 40mm. Adopted by nearly every Western nation, this gun became the backbone of early Cold War air defense. Accurate, reliable, and devastating, the Bofors could track and destroy aircraft at medium altitudes with frightening efficiency. It was everywhere, on ships, in fixed batteries, and mounted on mobile platforms. NATO didn't need to reinvent it, they simply perfected its use. From Scandinavia to the Mediterranean, the Bofors stood watch, day and night. Pilots knew its sound, and they feared it. M51 Skysweeper, United States. As threats evolved, NATO needed something smarter. The M51 Skysweeper introduced radar-assisted targeting to traditional gun defense. Its 75mm cannon could automatically track incoming aircraft, reducing human reaction time when seconds mattered. Deployed around key bases, it marked the transition from purely visual defense to electronically guided fire. For NATO, it was a warning. The air war was accelerating. Section 2. Heavy guns of the early Cold War. QF 3.7-inch AA gun, Britain. Before the Cold War even had a name, Britain relied on a giant of the skies. The QF 3.7-inch anti-aircraft gun was built for one purpose: to reach higher and hit harder. Designed to engage bombers flying far above conventional fire, it formed the backbone of Britain's heavy air defense. Massive, powerful, relentlessly precise. Its shells climbed into the stratosphere, detonating where enemy crews believed they were safe. For NATO's earliest planners, the lesson was clear. Altitude was no protection anymore. 90mm gun M1, M2, and M3, United States. Across the Atlantic, America answered the same threat with its own heavyweight defender. The 90mm gun series, M1, M2, and M3, became the United States' primary high-altitude shield. Improved fire control, radar integration, and heavier shells turned it into a true aircraft killer. These guns guarded cities, bases, and critical infrastructure during the most uncertain years of the Cold War. They weren't fast to move, they weren't subtle, but when bombers appeared on radar, they were ready. Section 3. Mobile protectors of the front line. M42 Duster, United States. As jet aircraft grew faster, NATO needed air defense that could move with its armored forces. The M42 Duster was the answer. Armed with twin 40mm Bofors cannons and mounted on a tracked chassis, it followed tanks straight into combat zones. Designed to protect armored columns from strafing runs and low-altitude attacks, the Duster delivered immediate reactive firepower. It lacked radar, it relied on human eyes and reflexes, but in trained hands, it was lethal. NATO commanders trusted the Duster to keep their troops alive when enemy aircraft appeared over the horizon. ZSU-57-2, captured and studied by NATO. Although originally Soviet, captured ZSU-57-2 units deeply influenced NATO doctrine. Studied extensively, they proved the importance of mobile, high-caliber anti-aircraft guns. NATO didn't copy it, but they learned from it. The lesson was clear. Air defense must move as fast as the forces it protects. That realization would shape every NATO anti-aircraft system that followed. Section 4. Radar meets firepower. Oerlikon 35mm GDF. Precision became NATO's next obsession. The Oerlikon 35mm GDF embodied that philosophy. Twin cannons, radar-guided fire control, and devastating accuracy made it one of the most respected air defense guns of the Cold War. Unlike older systems that relied on volume of fire, the GDF relied on calculation and timing. When it fired to kill. Deployed around NATO air bases, cities, and strategic installations, it became a silent guardian, waiting patiently for the moment it was needed. Oerlikon 20mm and 25mm series. Smaller but no less deadly, Oerlikon's lighter cannons filled NATO's layered defenses. Mounted on vehicles, ships, and fixed positions, they countered low-flying threats that slipped past heavier systems. Simple, fast, reliable. These guns ensured no altitude was safe. Section 5. The British Defenders. Vickers 40mm STA, United Kingdom. An advanced British concept, the STA combined stabilized firing with improved tracking. Though limited in numbers, it represented Britain's push towards accuracy over sheer volume. Another step towards modern air defense thinking. Section 6. German Engineering and Precision. Rheinmetall RH-202 20mm, West Germany. Widely used across NATO, the RH-202 was compact, reliable, and adaptable. Mounted on vehicles or used in fixed roles, it provided rapid response defense against low-flying threats. It didn't need massive infrastructure. It didn't need long setup times. It was always ready. NATO planners loved it for that reason alone. Section 7. French Speed and Flexibility. Dafaa 30mm towed systems, France. Towed but deadly, Dafaa guns provided point defense around key installations. With high-velocity rounds and excellent reliability, they filled critical gaps in NATO's layered defense network. They weren't flashy, but they were effective. And in Cold War doctrine, effectiveness mattered more than appearances. Section 8. Southern Flank Defenders. Otto Melara 76mm, Italy. Though famous at sea, the Otto Melara 76mm also contributed to land-based air defense concepts. Its rapid fire rate and versatility made it effective against aircraft, missiles, and surface targets. For NATO's southern flank, flexibility was survival, and Otto delivered it. Hispano-Suiza HS-820. Widely used across NATO nations, this 20mm cannon protected bases, convoys, and infrastructure. It wasn't designed to win wars, but to prevent disasters, and often that's the difference between victory and defeat.